What up, cuckolds? It's your boy, the Hater. I'm pretty pissed off because Hulu Live TV on the PS5 no longer works very well, and I wasn't able to really watch this show efficiently. However, I got through it for all of y'all so I could review it. Apparently, there also was an NXT special event thing. I didn't watch it. I didn't even know it was happening. Apparently, Trick Williams' shit title reign has already ended at the hands of that jobber, all-ego Ethan Page. Here's the proof in the pudding. Now, Trick might win it again, but let's be real. This is indicative of him not being anything special. I think we can all agree that Ethan Page is never going to make it. So the fact that he can become the champion and basically get it done over Trick Williams really does speak volumes about how great Trick Williams allegedly is. Anyways, that's my review, if you will, of NXT. I believe it was called Heatwave. Now let's get the Raw, motherfucks. The show starts. CM Cuck comes out and bores everyone to death. He doesn't say anything entertaining. He doesn't say anything that's correct. Basically, he says that he's after Drew McIntyre, and that he is the consequence of Drew McIntyre's actions. You know, in my personal opinion, CM Punk is the heel, and if this wasn't the case before this segment, after the segment, for sure he is now the heel, because Seth Rollins comes out and he's justifiably upset. Basically, he's like, "Oh, you screwed me. You ruined my opportunity. This was my last chance, right? You took it upon yourself to ruin the match, to get your revenge, but, you know, you mess with me." And basically, Seth Rollins speaks for like 10 minutes, but all he says is, "I'm going to get you when you're 100%, right? In other words, the way that CM Punk is going after Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins will be going after CM Punk. This is a valid point, right? Because as Seth Rollins explained, CM Punk screwed him. So, of course, Seth Rollins is justified in doing this. However, I don't know if it's now or later. I don't remember because I didn't write this one down. But there's a segment between Seth Rollins and the Judgment Day. The segment was mid. It was mid because part of it was completely horrible and part of it was kind of nice. In the segment, basically Damian Priest says, "You know, we agreed that you wouldn't have a title shot, but forget that, right? Like, I'm a fighting champion." Which was nice because it really puts Damian Priest over as a fighting champion before he inevitably loses to Gunther, right? I know I said Gunther shouldn't be WWE champion or any other kind of world champion, but if it's him or Damian Priest, I mean, I personally think Damian Priest is better, but like, you know, it is what it is. This is like basically a feud that last year would have been for the Intercontinental title. Now it's for the world title. I mean, to be fair, it's for the inferior world title that nobody cares about, but nevertheless, it is a world title match. So this made Damian Priest look good, but it was bad because his delivery was shit. And also, the fact that Damian Priest takes away this caveat that Seth Rollins no longer can challenge for the title, this pretty much invalidates the match, right? There was a stipulation in the match that said that if Seth loses, this is his last chance. Apparently, it meant nothing. Number one. Number two, this completely invalidates what we saw at the beginning of the show. Seth Rollins now has no reason to be mad at CM Punk because CM Punk ultimately didn't screw him. The only screw job that happened here is CM Punk ruined the match that was Seth Rollins' last opportunity. However, if Seth Rollins no longer is beholden to that rule, then all CM Punk did was stop Drew McIntyre from winning, which he's entitled to do, because that has nothing to do with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins didn't get pinned. He just wasn't good enough to get the pin. So now he really has no reason to be upset at CM Punk. So that feud is already completely meaningless. Just like that, motherfucks. Just like that. Triple H booking and whoever the hell's writing this garbage, this person's obviously retarded. Like, whoever's writing this didn't even think of this. They're like, "Oh, wait a second. We just had a segment establishing a new rivalry between CM Punk and Seth Rollins that is predicated upon something that we're going to undo in a matter of minutes." So, thus far, this show is a 0 out of 10. A very strong 0 out of 10, cucks. Next up, we have Jey Uso versus Chad Gable. For what this was, I enjoyed it. Jey Uso starts doing the Samoan moveset that we've all grown accustomed to. At a certain point, I think Michael Cole says, "Oh, we saw Jacob Fatu do this move yesterday," right? When Jey Uso does the ass to the corner, right? It literally is the same shit. He is the same thing as Jacob Fatu. But for some reason, Jacob Fatu is supposed to be scarier because he's a werewolf. It's fucking retarded. In my previous video, someone, like I said that The Miz would beat up all of these Samoan jobbers. I firmly stand by that. This is obviously evidenced by what we saw today. Jey Uso, like here's the difference. Chad Gable comes out chiseled out of stone. This guy has like no body fat. He is just an athlete, right? Jey Uso comes out with love handles. Are you fucking serious? Like, this is on top of the fact that we all know that if Chad Gable wanted to, he would beat the shit out of Jey Uso in 10 seconds. And all the other fat-ass Samoans. You know? So, think about the level of nepotism that we have going on here. Like, Jey Uso isn't even a real tough guy. Like, Chad Gable would destroy him in real life. And despite this, Chad Gable still looks better than him. Right? In the past, at least, you might have, like, Brock Lesnar, and he's going to wrestle John Cena. But, okay, we can accept that Brock Lesnar would whoop his ass, right? But at least John Cena looks like he has a chance. At least John Cena puts in the effort, motherfucks. We've had many other opportunities. Like, I think we can all agree, Kurt Angle would probably beat up Stone Cold and The Rock in about 5 seconds each, right? But at least The Rock looks like he's bigger and stronger than Kurt Angle. Jey Uso doesn't look like he's bigger and stronger than Chad Gable, and he isn't bigger and stronger than Chad Gable. As a matter of fact, he does nothing better than Chad Gable, and despite this, he has a spot on the card. At the very least, Roman Reigns can look the part. And just like I told the guy, if you don't think The Miz would whoop all these jabrones, these fake-ass athletes out, go watch the challenge where The Miz made his name, Road Rules. A lot of people, me included, when The Miz debuted, we were led to believe that this was like a joke. Right? We had people like fucking Eddie Guerrero and Benoit being like, The Miz comes from reality TV. Well, from reality TV, the challenge, it turns out, when I started watching it, these are like real badass motherfuckers. And The Miz was one of the good ones. He was one of the better athletes, right? As I became a big fan of the challenge in the last few years, since the pandemic, I started watching the old seasons. There's a dude there called CT. Another one of my subscribers brought him up too. CT, even though like, obviously, he's not, like, as big as, like, Omos, obviously. CT is a fucking bull, man. And, like, The Miz was competing against CT. And CT would beat the shit out of all the entire Samoan dynasty. You know what I mean? So, like, don't give me this shit. Just because they tell you Jacob Fatu is tough, doesn't mean he's tough. They also told you Rikishi's a good rapper, that Rikishi can dance, and Rikishi is hood, right? None of these things are true. Oh, Rikishi got shot once. I don't give a flying fuck. They live in Florida. Oh, Florida is rough. Is it? It's not as rough as New York. It's not as rough as the East Coast. You know, it can't be that bad when you're a gangster and everything's bad, but you come out and you see palm trees and sunlight. You know, it's a little bit different when you come out and you see concrete, like in Boston or in New York. So I'm tired. Basically, I'm sick and tired of this. The Samoans are tough guys, despite there being no evidence of this whatsoever. Oh, how cool one time ripped a guy's jaw out with his balls. Did he? Did he? I don't give a fuck. CT would beat up Haku. What do you think of them apples? Anyways, back to the show, cucks. Gable puts on the ankle lock. And this is when the match goes to shit. However, I do like this because Gable put on the ankle lock. And the implications were that Gable was close to winning this match, but for the fact that the Wyatt6 bullshit starts again. This distracts Gable. Jey Uso hits the spear. He's got a pretty decent spear. And he pins Gable. Uso looks at the camera, says, yeet, and then bounces, right? Which I did like, because it was a comedy moment, because he's like, I'm not sticking around and waiting for the Wyatt6, right? Now, everyone's freaking out about the Wyatt6. I don't know why. Everybody knows what's going to happen. Nikki Cross is going to come out and give Michael Cole another VHS. Like, why would they think something else is going to happen? Like, what have they done so far? They attacked everyone one day. Nobody seems to give a shit. Adam Pearce, who, like, if you took kayfabe seriously, you would think that Adam Pearce is one of the biggest retards, literally, in the history of TV. This guy just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I understand he's just a character, but the reality is that, first of all, you have people ruining Drew McIntyre's life left and right. Doesn't do anything about it. Then, the Wyatt6, 6 retards or 5 retards, come out dressed as bunny rabbits and pigs. They pretty much murder, like, half of your staff. And instead of doing something about it, Adam Pearce just sits there like a retard, and he just lets Nikki Cross come out every week, ruin matches, and then also give Michael Cole the tape. Also, what the fuck is this thing like they have with Chad Gable? I don't like this at all. There was a point, I briefly watched this. I kind of like passed out for a second, but I think Chad Gable went to the back and basically said, do something about this. And Adam Pearce was like, bah, 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 bah. And then Chad Gable's like, I'll take care of this myself, right? And it got me thinking, imagine if this shit happened during the Attitude Era. Like, The Rock would come out and he'd be like, what in the blue hell was that? And he'd be like, Eric Rowan, you come out here dressed as a rabbit with a little hammer. Well, The Rock says, take that hammer, turn that sumbitch sideways. He would do his shtick, right? And he would bury them completely. Like, they would have no credibility if a wrestler like The Rock was able to say, hey, this is fucking stupid. If he just says, like, what the fuck? Why do we keep watching Bo Dallas, right? Like, how about, like, I don't know. Let's see. How about Sheamus comes out? I'm sure that Sheamus has beaten Bo Dallas clean like 100 times, right? When Bo Dallas was a jobber. How about Sheamus comes out and says, whoa, wait a second. Why is it that this Bo Dallas guy keeps getting 10 minutes every week, right? I used to beat this guy's ass in 20-second squash matches, right? What the hell is this? Why are we tolerating this, right? Why doesn't a wrestler say that? Why is it that in kayfabe, everyone has to take this seriously, even though it's fucking stupid? Like, it's not cool, it's not clever, it's not creepy either, it's not scary. There's nothing scary about, like, Dexter Lumis dressed as a buzzard. That's not scary, that's stupid, motherfucks. But anyways, that happens. Speaking of Sheamus, he's in the back cutting a promo, and he's about to do his little catchphrase, banger after banger. He gets interrupted by Bull Dempsey, a.k.a. Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed basically says, I'm going to beat up your friend Pete Dunn. And then he proceeds to go out and do exactly that. Pete Dunne's a jobber, so he just takes the L, right? Sheamus comes to save his ass. Pete Dunne is still upset because he used to be Butch and he used to be friends with Sheamus. But whatever, it is what it is. Pete Dunne is being wasted. And when I say wasted, I mean like he's being used exactly how he should be used because he sucks. But Bronson Reed, he's just another Bull Dempsey. I've said this 100 times and I'll say it again and again. But I will say this. Bronson Reed, at least he can talk a little bit. Right? He can talk a little bit. He's interesting looking. I don't see why he doesn't deserve a push, especially like, for example, if you have like Obafemi on NXT, there's no reason why Obafemi should be getting a push and Bronson Reed shouldn't, right? It's like they're the same thing, right? It's another Bull Dempsey. He's just two boring guys, right? That are decent on the mic. One's getting a push, one isn't, right? It is what it is. I hope he gets a chance. Next up, Braun Breaker comes out and he destroys Sami Zayn. Long story short, Sami Zayn says, what are you here for? Braun Breaker starts cutting a promo, drops the mic, spears him. Adam Pearce shows once again why he's an ineffective retard. Like, this guy's it's infuriating how bad at his job Adam Pearce is in kayfabe, right? It's stupid. It's almost like, why is he even there? Like, if you're Triple H or whoever is like the owner, whoever is like the boss figure, right, in kayfabe, why do you even have this guy there? He doesn't do anything. Like, any situation that requires him to solve something, he can't get it done. So it's like, why is he still there? It doesn't make any sense at all. Anyways, whatever, right? Braun Breaker destroys him. Ilya Dragunov comes out because he had a brief feud with Braun Breaker, and now him and Sami Zayn are friends because why the fuck wouldn't they be, right? They're both two jobbers, so the jobbers have to be friends with each other. We go to the back. Ilya Dragunov says, I want a match. And Adam Pearce says, you got it tonight. You versus Braun Breaker. Fantastic. They have a match. The match is just eventually, like, and I think the match is a few segments later, but they have a match, and the match is just a continuation of the beatdown that Braun Breaker performed on Sami Zayn. Now he just beats them both up. He gets disqualified. The match was meaningless. Now, we also have a 6-man tag match. Judgment Day and Carlito versus the Awesome Truth and Strowman. R-Truth, basically, like, the good guys are dominating the match. Then R-Truth becomes retarded, starts dancing and singing. Finn Balor drop kicks him, hits the coup de grace, and wins. That's it. Like, I'm tired of R-Truth being retarded. R-Truth is a good wrestler. Now, I get it. They don't want to make him serious. They want him to be retarded. But their shtick is getting old, motherfucks. We get it. R-Truth is retarded. His character is he's fucking stupid. Like, there's no other explanation. Oh, he's very entertaining. That might be. But he's basically just a very, very, very stupid person. In kayfabe, right? It's like, there's no reason why The Miz would even hang out with him at this point. He's just because he's stupid to the point where it's like, this wouldn't be allowed. Like, if someone actually was that stupid, you wouldn't be able to, like, hire them, right? Like, R-Truth is being portrayed as someone who has, like, a sub 45 IQ. Like, he legitimately is being portrayed as if he's retarded. Like, this is a little bit almost unethical. Like, people got mad at Eugene because he would make the retarded faces. But R-Truth is legitimately presented as being dumber than Eugene. Think about what I'm saying here. R-Truth is being presented as being clinically retarded. I'm not even saying retarded now to be funny. He's being presented as someone who has severe mental handicaps and someone that is clinically retarded. I'll repeat. We have a rapper who is clinically retarded. That's his gimmick. This is the Triple H era. Anyways, I digress. Let's move on to the other bullshit. We then have a match. It's Damage Control versus Chance, Carter, and someone else who, for the life of me, I cannot remember right now. The reason why I can't remember it is because it doesn't really matter. Basically, what happens is the jobber tag team that I just explained with the person that I can't remember. This tag team just is what this tag team is. They're just there to take the loss. It's a complete waste of time. Katana Chance is like, she's not getting a chance. You know what I mean? She's actually an attractive girl, so like I'm surprised they haven't given her a chance. Her partner is just like fat now, like Carter, whatever her name is. She just gained all this weight, I think. I could be wrong, but she just looked really fat during this match. And it was really dumb. They basically took the L. But something, I won't say something good happened because that's just a lie. That's just a bold-faced lie, motherfucks. But basically, what happened was after the match, a bunch of women came out and attacked them. It was Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and fucking Sonya Deville, who I haven't seen in like probably several years, if I'm being honest. So that was kind of nice seeing Sonya Deville. I don't know if Zoe Stark is a lesbian, but I know that Shayna Baszler and Sonya Deville are. So it'd be cool if Zoe Stark is a lesbian because that could be like their thing. They're just like three studs. The stud line, motherfucks. So it is what it is. They come out. I really enjoyed the beatdown. It was a classic beatdown. They're yelling at the face. They all hit their finishers, or what I perceive to be their big moves, right? So Zoe Stark does a super kick and then she does like a power bomb and alley-oops. I think it was Io Sky. I don't care. She alley-oops the person, and Shayna Baszler just does like a knee as the person's coming down. It was pretty sick. And then Sonya Deville does the move that apparently is called Deville's Advocate, which is basically a reverse DDT. Like, I mean, there's no need to even have a name for that. It's just a reverse DDT. Like, if you're going to do the reverse DDT as a finisher, just call it the Scorpion Death Drop. Just do that. That's much more clever than calling it the Deville's Advocate. So I really enjoyed this segment because something new happened, right? Nevertheless, it wasn't anything special. It was just new, After this, we had, what's it called? The main event. The main event was Dominic and Liv Morgan versus Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega. Rey Mysterio fucking carrying this show, motherfuckers. He's the only wrestler there that, like, if someone said, hey, do you want to watch wrestling live? I'd be like, oh, who's wrestling? If they mention everybody here, the only person I'd care about would be Rey Mysterio and maybe The Miz and maybe Dominic. Everybody else I couldn't give a shit about. Anyways, they have a match. The match is like, it's what you'd expect. It's like a mid-level Rey Mysterio Monday Night Raw match, so it's not that good, right? It could have been good, but there's no need to make it good, so it's not that good. The finish was pretty cool. Basically, and I will say this, the booking of the match was excellent. Whoever produced this match is brilliant. And here's why. The match basically ends as follows. Dominic is on the top turnbuckle, and Mysterio is getting up to do, like, presumably a Hurricane Rana or a Bulldog or that little victory roll thing that he does, right? Probably a Hurricane Rana. Now, Liv Morgan comes in and basically grabs Rey Mysterio's leg and pulls it. So Rey Mysterio falls, Dominic gets up and hits the frog splash. A pretty classic finish. Nothing to write home about yet, right? But then after the match, Dominic Mysterio is very excited, and it makes sense. And Michael Cole does a good job explaining that this is the first time that Dominic has beaten Rey. And you're like, oh, wait a second, they've wrestled so many times, but every time Rey has won. So now it's like, interesting. Dominic just pinned Rey for the first time. And the underpinnings of this are that he failed to do so every other time. So every other time, he was less successful than he was now. Why? Because of Liv Morgan. So Dominic is understandably excited. The same way that Finn and JD were excited when they won the titles. But for Dominic, it's even more important, right? Because Liv Morgan is essentially throwing herself at him. And now she's proving to be more useful than Rhea Ripley. Because when he was with Rhea Ripley, he couldn't beat Rey Mysterio. Now he can. So it's like almost like the story of the match was, hey, maybe Liv Morgan is a better fit for Dominic. So they almost like kiss, they're like hugging, they fall to the ground. He pushes her away, then she jumps on him. Then they fall to the ground and they get like close for a kiss. And then Rhea Ripley's music hits. Now, this was kind of dumb in my opinion because it's like, you might as well just have done this next week. There was no point in this happening other than to stop them from kissing. It would have been more effective if they kissed though. You know what I mean? It would have been more effective if Rhea Ripley didn't show up and Dominic and Liv Morgan kissed, or if Liv Morgan kissed him and Dominic is like, whoa, and he had like this look on his face like, what am I doing with my life, and then it cuts to black. But instead, Rhea Ripley comes out, but she doesn't do anything. All she does is she comes out, gets a pop, Liv Morgan runs away. She goes to the ring. Dominic goes for a hug. She says no and walks out. So a stupid return, but pretty good main event story-wise, booking-wise, right? And obviously, Rhea Ripley coming back is interesting because this is the payoff of this storyline. I thought it would take a lot longer. I'm sure they'll drag it on for a little bit, but she's back, and that's kind of good. So with that being said, take care of yourself, cuckolds.